Hi everyone, welcome to the CollabCast. I'm editor Katie Cusack here with editor David King and artist Jordan Taylor Hill. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks so much for coming. I'm just going to start off by telling everyone that if you'd like to see Jordan play, he's going to be playing a show for us at Superior Merch on May 16th with Amani O and Silica Angel.
And Howard Underwood is my partner. Well, he's like a mentor more so than anything, but he plays really well. He's like one of the guys that started the Washington Park drummer thing that happens every Sunday. So he'll be there too.
He'll be there with you. Yeah, nice. So what can people expect from your set?
A lot of drumming. Maybe we'll probably play like different instruments like djembe, maybe some congas, maybe kalimba, berimbau. Just like West African stuff, stuff from Cuba, stuff from Brazil, and maybe like some poetry or spoken word in between some of that too. And I'm super excited about it. So
it's gonna be great. And I know we've talked about this before, but can you sort of run us through your experience in sort of learning this drumming style and taking on music in that way? Yeah,
I first got introduced to the music in 2011. As an undergrad, I went to study abroad in Senegal, and I just did like a drum and dance internship. And they have a couple different styles of music there, but my first exposure to like traditional West African music was sabar drumming, which is played with a stick and your hand. It's like really high pitched. And I went from one troup's practice to another cultural center and was just watching people perform or rehearse there, and it just like blew my mind, just like all the different rhythms and seeing the way people were moving and just singing, and it really just felt like magic to me, because it's like you see all this stuff and not really, I wasn't able to comprehend everything that was actually happening, so it just really like captivated me, and since then I just been trying to study it more in other forms of music from the African diaspora.
Yeah, I mean, it's so individualized and there's so many different styles. And was that something that you knew about sort of going into the internship, like sort of knowing the breadth of styles that you were going to be exploring, or were you trying to just go to learn like one or two, like a specific style?
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I just remember even as a kid seeing like a djembe drum or photo or video of it more. So I grew up on Long Island, and that's kind of like Long Island, which I love it, but it just, that culture it wasn't where I was, even though there were a lot of people of like mixed heritage.
Yeah.
And what was the question? I'm so sorry.
You're like, I'm sorry, I just got stuck in Long Island for a second. Internalized it. No, but just sort of going over like heading into that internship, like what you were expecting and what was it like to sort of walk into that and realize, wait, this is so much bigger than even I could have realized, like, because I mean, you have to have some kind of awareness going, like having an internship, being accepted into a program, like you're like crossing an ocean to go like learn and be completely involved in this style of music, and to know that it's so much bigger than you ever could have realized, I feel like is. I
just got lucky, I think. It was a new program with like 2 or 3 different schools, and I was actually debating between doing a study abroad in like London or like Senegal, and I actually chose London at first, and then I just remember the conversations that I had with my professor, and it was just really resonating with me. In the last minute, I kind of just changed it. And, it was a Cultures and Customs of Senegal program.
In London?
No. So there were 2 study abroad things that I was
Right,
looking at. I knew
right.
I wanted to like do one, and last minute I changed from like deciding to go to London to going to Senegal
Wow.
because it was a new program.
Yeah.
But before that, I didn't really have too much exposure to that culture.
Right.
So, yeah, when I got there, they were just really like accepting and warm to me, you know. And I bought like a little drum and just walked around with it everywhere. And people were like, oh, djembe fola, which is like a djembe player. And they're like, oh, play something. And I would just bang on the drums, and they were just like so bad. It's so bad. I just look back on things like even from last year or last week, I'm like, dang, I did that, you know. But we all learn and stuff, so.
I mean, I'm struck by, obviously you're at the barn and you do courses, but you're also, it always seems like you're also learning a lot and constantly looking for new stuff. And that exchange, I think, is what's so interesting to me, that you're able to bring in these different forms and also at the same time pass them on to folks who are very interested. And but what is it that kept you in the air? I mean, is it the barn that keeps you here? What is it that are there enough people who want it? You know, like what is it that?
Yeah, the barn definitely does keep me there. I found out about that through school as well, and the apartments hadn't even opened up yet. They just had the Stage 1 gallery that was down the road, and I just met a few local community arts organizations, and we kind of like curated a small show and gave them my email. I was like, this project is really cool. You know, I'd like to find out more about it, and just kept coming back and stuff. I met cool people like Richard and other folks.
Richard Loveridge is in the room. Everyone should know. He always is.
And yeah, once I graduated in December 2012, finished my lease and ended up meeting some really cool people out in Grafton at Soulfire Farm. I did that for like a season. And during that time, like I knew that the lofts were opening up, and it just so happened that like a month after my farming internship, I got accepted and was able to move in there. So I just moved up with like 2 big bags in my backpack, and I was like sleeping in the loft with like a sleeping bag and a pillow for the first 9 months or 6 months, because it was just, I didn't come up with much, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's definitely something that's kept me in Albany. It's like they're very helpful in being able to like not just give me the space, but also like resources and connecting with other people that, you know, can help me better my craft and the business side of it, you know, and encourage me to like look for grants or like, you know, get my business actually established correctly, you know, and yeah, realize that it's like, it's a process too, you know, and it takes time, and I've just been, I guess, lucky to have that time and space. But, you know, there's a part of me too that wants to get to the point, a big part of me, that I can get to the point where I can leave there, you know, and give other folks an opportunity to live there. So
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you did just mention 2 really powerful local communities and groups of people, Soulfire and the Barn. But I've heard a rumor, it might not be true, but I've heard a rumor that you're working, doing some stuff with Amani before the show.
that might be a rumor.
Yeah.
That might be true.
We'll leave it up in the air. But
It's probably more true than a rumor.
yeah, but you know, she's someone from Soulfire. She's someone that's part of that powerful community that is
dope.
doing
And
really.
she's dope. She's
Yeah.
dope. Yeah.
So it does seem like people are really helping each other out more in the community and working on projects together. Have you found more of that at the Barn? We were sort of talking earlier about that they're working towards more collaborative projects and.
Yeah, we're on like committees where we have to do certain things. Like I'm in a community outreach committee. And we're going to start doing movie nights at the Barn. This first one is they're going to be the last Tuesdays of the month. And for the first one, we're going to show the Basquiat film.
Nice.
So,
Love that movie.
and then, some of us, they're like visual artists that live there, so they're going to like show their work and do some painting. And I'm going to collaborate with other musicians that live there, and like we'll play music as people are coming in.
Yeah.
And then other shows, other movies that we plan to have more discussions or bring in folks that, specialize in certain fields that we don't necessarily like specialize, like talking about mental health and stuff like that. But yeah, it feels like now, since the barn, it's a big project too. And I feel like it's starting to kind of like, get into a groove of like, okay, this is what works for us, and how we can continue growing our brand and company and stuff.
Especially in terms of like community outreach stuff, because I know you're super involved in working with schools, and like this arts education element of what you do is also super interesting to me, like sort of going to like high schools, middle schools, like elementary schools too. Like literally everything in the Albany area, and teaching them what you learned. And I think that's really interesting to sort of like, especially having you brought up, like you didn't get an opportunity to sort of like grow up in and around that kind of like having that exposure.
Sure.
So like to bring that exposure to a new community that you're living and working in is just like a whole other type of magic, because it's like they would never have had that opportunity if you weren't here. So it's also interesting.
It's a blessing. I'm really grateful for it.
How many like programs do you do? In terms
It depends on the time of year. But I came back in February. I've done maybe like 5 or 6 different schools. So some I'll do like 6 or 8 weeks at a time, going in there once or twice a week. And then some schools I've just built sort of like a relationship where if they're doing, like if they need a sub or something, or if they're having like a health day or something, they've brought me into some of them. But yeah, I definitely want to be able to do more schools, and even work with older kids that may be in college and stuff like that, and teach them some of the music that I know, like traditional music, and like kind of create my own curriculum to be like, this is how you teach a rhythm like cuckoo, which is like a dance for fishermen, and it's like you play it don't get don't get don't, and then like giving that to people to give to other people. So it goes back to that, like that exchange of educators and stuff like that. So yeah, I'd really like to be able to have something where I don't necessarily have to be there, but other people can be there,
It keeps and kind of like steamrolling.
Yeah, just a like, a culture of,
right.
Yeah, I don't know. I just say take the best parts of the tradition and leave the stuff that, isn't so good that we need to work on more. And so. Yeah.
What do some of like your courses when you're teaching those drumming dancing classes? I mean, like what are some of the main things that you like to run through with students, especially if they've never been exposed to this type of art before?
A lot of like call and response kind of stuff. So a great way to get anyone is just, I'll do like bran da da dan dan gong gong bran da da dan dan gong gong baran da dan dan gong gong bara gara gara ga gong gong gong, and like there's that exchange where you're constantly in that for like the entire class, or even outside of that. But just certain rhythms, like cuckoo is a really popular one. Or there's one that's like the dance of the strong man or strong woman, which is called Dundumba. And there's like a family of different rhythms where people, I've posted some stuff online too. You can see it. But the drummers will be like here, and then all the dancers, it'll start with the young kids, and they'll just be playing around, and then all the 20, 30-something-year-old dancers will go in a circle and, do kind of like a pace around and listen for the drumming, and then people will go in and like do their solos and like come out and stuff. And it's just about building that culture, because I feel like it carries over outside of the class, like just how you are supposed to respect your elders, and even just thinking about some of the music and why it like even exists, songs for strength or songs to honor the fishermen or for agriculture, or girls coming of age, and different things like that. And it also just depends on like how I'm feeling that day. Like, oh, maybe we'll do this.
Run through something else.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because I feel like it also kind of supports this like network of communication. Like it's like forces people to interact with each other, which I feel like seems to be more difficult all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's something too, is like trusting someone to like be there for the next beat and like that kind of like you're not just making music on your own, you're depending on all these people to like make it all come together, which is something that's really cool too.
You can be the best drummer or dancer in the world, but like if you're not sharing that with anybody, then what's the point of like, what's it in vain? It's just like
so you've traveled pretty often for your studies, right? And I mean, do you have plans to continue that? Is that an important part of what you do in your art? Do you think that keeps you fresh and learning new things, or is it more about just maintaining connection to different cultures? Is it
probably probably a little bit of both?
Yeah.
I love those places, Senegal and Guinea. But there's so much that I still want to like experience and learn. I want to learn like more Afro-Cuban stuff, more Brazilian stuff, more stuff from like Trinidad, like the steel pan, or Jamaica. There's a lot of traditional culture in terms of percussion across the African diaspora that you see influence modern music, whether it's dancehall or reggaeton or some of the most popular songs, they're using those like the marimba or steel pan, all those instruments that are really dance influenced. And I want to also keep that too, because I feel like it's about drawing a bridge between like the past generations and what the youth want today. They might like a lot of the traditional stuff, but they might love what these younger people are doing, and there's like value in trying to understand where that passion comes from. And hopefully I'll get back there. There's plenty of places on the western side of, what is this, the hemisphere? I don't know what it is. Is it a hemisphere?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
There's like hemisphere and
the
equator is this way.
This isn't
geography.
Class. Yeah, exactly. But you get the point.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, hemisphere.
Yeah,
like the Caribbean, there's so much happening there. It's
Haiti,
just like beautiful music.
There's and there's a lot of connections too. A lot of the traditions you'll see from Nigeria are seen in places like Cuba and Haiti. And like the people hid their traditional culture, which some people call Santeria or Yoruba, within like Catholicism and stuff, and like those saints and deities and stuff like that, which I'm not that connected to. I don't fully understand, but I know enough to know that it does exist. And I want to just be able to understand it more. And
I mean,
there's so much to uncover.
I think it's sort of one of the discussions I've been reading a lot about lately is this idea of, there's sort of white privilege in saying, I don't care what my ancestry is. I don't care about that, because it's all, no matter where you're from, if you're white, you have this long list of masters who reference each other in whatever work that you can follow forever and discover history. But obviously what you're talking about are people who have had to hide their work or keep it in little corners, or that could be stamped out very easily if the tradition wasn't passed on. So in some ways what you're doing is, being plugged into that is saving these things that really people tried to get rid of. And it's pretty amazing that there's so much to discover and so many people who can connect and find something about themselves, whether it's, directly their relatives, or if it's, just this tradition that might not otherwise, be something to connect with. Do you find yourself like feeling like you're doing something that like it's sort of this I guess not archaeology, but like anthropology in a sense. You're introducing people to the things that they might have otherwise ignored, but probably have a strong connection to, whether it's because they like the popular music that draws from it, or because they have an ancestry that might.
Do I feel like an anthropologist?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you?
Well, yeah, maybe a little bit. It's funny because actually I did like a poster presentation about like libraries and using them as creative centers, and like within the narrative of cultures outside of like outside of the Western narrative. And a part of that was just like empowering the locals to say like, yeah, we have modern music, like I said, but we also have traditional music and stuff too, that we can share with folks, and an anthropological like organization helped fund that like poster presentation, and so I wasn't necessarily like thinking of it then as being someone who uncovers things that are
Right.
From centuries ago, within these empires from like 700-800 years ago. But I don't know. I just like playing music.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I just like.
Yeah.
But it's like a kid in his basement listening to a Rolling Stones song 60 years ago might have been turned on to the blues, but now what you're doing, or what popular music does now, you're offering people a link to all these other works and all this culture that they might otherwise never get to, and your lines are, I think, much drawn much sharper, and it gives people a thread to follow. And I think that obviously we've seen that conversation about changing the Western dominance of history and all that stuff, or thought, sort of being challenged, and this is a way for people to get more directly involved. Whether it is just music and having fun, it still plants the seed that there is more out there that isn't what they're being force-fed or reading in the history books. Yeah,
I remember going into a school and just mentioning like a country to elementary school students, and I was like, have you heard of Ghana or Africa? And there was a bunch of black boys and girls, and their only point of reference was slavery. And I was just like, dang, like there's so much more to that, and to have that as like the starting point, it just, you internalize this like idea of what you came from that isn't necessarily true all the time,
It's like a central identifier for a massive continent with so many countries and cultures and histories, like deep histories that go way beyond that.
Yeah.
It's like, that would be beautiful to learn about if there was like a curriculum that allowed for that.
Yeah.
It's like,
so it's nice to be able to like go in and, tell kids like, this music was for farmers because, you know, there were people that did that and were really like celebrated, you know, and now there's such a weird relationship with the land that people don't even want to associate with it, you know, or just many different trades and stuff like that, you know, blacksmiths and stuff like that, where a lot of people aren't taught that there are so many other options, you know. You don't have to like play a sport or rap, you know, even though I rap and I did play basketball and that helped me get to college, but still, you know, we can celebrate people that do so many other things too, you know.
For sure.
So what's the best way for folks to get involved in take your classes or be involved in what's going on at the barn?
Right now, I'm looking for another spot. Hopefully it'll be announced like very soon or in talks. And I'm like very excited actually about where it could potentially be. Because we're not at the barn anymore. I'm not teaching classes there. But yeah, hopefully this other spot will do something maybe like late spring during the summer and going into the fall and stuff. And then other workshops. I mean, social media is probably like the best way just to like stay connected or just let me get your email. That's my new like pickup line. You know what I'm saying? Like, can I get your email? Because you might delete your Snapchat or Instagram. You know what I'm saying? So give me your email and then I'll send you an email about what else is happening. Or you can go to Albany Barn and they have a bunch of different you know, programs and events and stuff like that that's happening. So, yeah.
Right. What's your email so that people can get a hold of you?
Do people still do? Yeah.
People do email still.
Yeah. No, I do. I definitely will. I think my emails actually are a little bit more successful than like the people that follow me on Instagram. Like I feel like more people from my email list will come to my workshops than my followers on, you know, but my email is contact@jordantaylorhill.com. So you can, you know, I do live shows, workshops, private classes, group classes.
You do like
drumming, dancing, production.
Do you take precocious 5-year-olds?
Huh?
Do you take precocious, oversized 5-year-olds?
I will take the. Please come.
She's a kid.
Yeah. I do a summer camp too at JMU for kids, and that's something that I've like over the last 4 or 5 years. I've been really happy and excited to be doing because I can like really focus with kids for a good amount of time, and you know, get a show every week. So yeah.
Nice. Do you have like an email newsletter that you send to people?
I do. Yeah. Katie, you just got to sign up. I don't know, you know. I need permission, but I'm going to add you with your permission. Do I have your permission? Because it's on record now. So.
Yeah, everyone knows now.
Okay.
We do beg people to send us press releases and stuff.
Oh, really?
So, you know.
Yeah, it's
everyone is welcome to let us know what's going on.
Yeah, it's not like we haven't been asking everyone every week.
No, it's important. Yesterday someone was like, "Can you show me like what you do?" And so she can show that to her coworkers, you know, and it's for this big like accounting firm. And I'm like, shoot, I like kind of have a EPK, but not really. And I just put one together last minute, and half hour after it was supposed to be sent, she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't guarantee that you are gonna get it because you didn't send me this." But I ended up sending it, and I like got that gig. So I think those things for artists, they should know that those are very important. Yeah. Because there are people that aren't gonna like present your Instagram to social media, you know.
It's also like, I know something that we always run into, or at least I do, like in terms of putting things in the magazine, like if I want to put a photo in our calendar and like I can't find a photo of the artist that's like that I know that I can use, and I can't get a hold of them to be like, "Hey, do I have your permission to use this photo that I found of you?" It's like so nice to have something that I know I'm allowed to use, like in terms of press kit stuff. So
yeah. I'm gonna use this. It's gonna be like evergreen. Be we're gonna get some good shows because I did a cool interview with the Collaborative with David and Katie. So.
This is the first time we've heard that, so thank you. Yeah.
Really? Y'all are awesome. Y'all are definitely like creating a nice culture, I think, for the artists and creatives that we definitely appreciate, So
Thank you.
Yeah,
Means a lot, actually, from you.
It's really the only reason we invited you on, because we just wanted to come.
Just keep reading the script.
Just send me that check to the barn again. No, people might actually, hopefully they won't try to.
There's definitely going to be people.
Yeah, it's like, you were on the cover, you're doing a show, now you're no, that's all good.
It's cool. Well, thank you so much for being here. It was fun.
Thank you.
I'm
It's a
very
pleasure.
much looking forward to the show.
Me too.
Lots of people come out.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be so awesome. Come out. We're gonna play some sounds, sing some songs, do some dancing.
I'm bringing the whole
rapping
family.
in. Awesome.
Yeah.
Please do.
Very exciting.
Cool.
Thanks.